All right, welcome back, everyone. Today, we're diving into something pretty incredible. We're going to be talking about the potential of artificial intelligence.
Oh, yeah.
And specifically, we're going to be looking at Sam Altman's vision for what he calls the intelligence age.
Okay.
And he has this really interesting post on his website, aya.sammaltman.com. And it lays out some, I think, really fascinating ideas about where AI is headed and what it means for all of us.
Yeah, I think it's certainly a really thought-provoking piece. And Altman's position, at the forefront of AI development
Right.
gives him a pretty unique perspective.
Yeah.
He's not just, kind of speculating about this stuff. He's actually out there building it.
Yeah, no, exactly. He's got skin in the game.
Yeah.
So let's jump into it.
Yeah.
One of the things that really struck me was his idea that the future, when we're talking about AI, it's not going to be this like sudden magical thing.
Right.
Instead, he talks about accelerating progress, right? Like building on what previous generations have already achieved.
Yeah, and I think that's a really powerful point. Think about the agricultural revolution, for example, the invention of the plow.
Right.
It seemed revolutionary at the time, totally transformed how people lived and worked.
Yeah.
But looking back, it was just one step in this long process of human innovation.
Yeah, that's a great point. It makes me wonder, what's the plow of our time?
Right.
Like what feels impossible now that our children are just going to take for granted?
Yeah, well, self-driving cars, I think, are probably a good candidate for that.
Okay.
Or, personalized medicine tailored to your own DNA,
Oh, wow, yeah.
These things are on the horizon, and I think they have the potential to reshape the world just as profoundly as the plow did.
Totally.
Centuries ago, yeah.
Okay, so we've got this accelerating progress, but Altman actually takes it a step further.
Okay.
He argues that society itself is a form of intelligence.
Okay.
Right? It's this massive network of knowledge and capabilities that we all tap into.
Yeah, and what's fascinating is how he sees AI acting as a force multiplier for this collective intelligence, right?
Okay.
Like, imagine having instant access to, the world's accumulated knowledge.
Oh, wow.
Tailored to your specific needs and goals.
So it's not just like having information at our fingertips.
Right.
It's like having AI help us process and apply that information in ways we can't even imagine yet.
Exactly, yeah. Think about like a doctor using AI to diagnose a rare disease.
Yeah.
Drawing on this global database of medical knowledge and research.
Yeah.
Or an architect using AI to design a building that perfectly optimizes, energy efficiency and sustainability, factoring in countless variables and possibilities.
It sounds like AI could become this incredible tool for problem solving and creativity, almost like having, a team of virtual experts supporting us in everything we do.
That's the potential that I think Altman is highlighting here.
Yeah.
But he's also very clear that this potential hinges on one key factor.
Yeah.
Deep learning.
Okay, deep learning. It's a term we hear a lot these days.
Right.
What makes it so crucial to this whole vision of the intelligence age?
Well, deep learning is basically a type of algorithm that's incredibly effective at learning from data. The more data you feed it, the better it gets.
Okay.
At recognizing patterns, making predictions, and essentially teaching itself.
So it's not just about programming a computer to do a specific task.
Right.
It's about creating systems that can learn and adapt on their own.
Precisely, yeah. And the key here is that deep learning is not just hype.
Yeah.
It's already having a real-world impact.
Right.
We're seeing it in personalized education, with AI tutors who can adapt to each student's learning style.
Oh, wow.
Healthcare, with AI systems that can diagnose diseases with incredible accuracy.
Yeah.
And just countless other fields.
It's both exciting and a little intimidating to think about the sheer scope of these changes.
Yeah.
But Altman seems incredibly optimistic about, the future he's describing. He envisions this world of shared prosperity where everyone's life is better than the best lives today.
It's an aspirational vision for sure. And, it's important to remember that prosperity doesn't automatically translate to happiness.
Right.
But the potential for positive change is, I think, undeniable.
Yeah.
Access to resources, healthcare, and education.
Yeah.
These are the building blocks for a better future.
So what would it mean for you, listening to this right now, to have access to the resources and opportunities of this future? What dreams could you pursue?
Would it be possible for you?
Yeah, if you had the power of AI at your fingertips.
Those are the kinds of questions I think we all need to be asking as we enter this new era.
Yeah, definitely.
But as Altman points out, there's this one crucial factor that will determine whether this future of abundance becomes a reality.
Okay, and that is, don't leave us hanging.
It all comes down to computing power.
Okay.
Making AI widely accessible requires abundant and affordable computing power.
Yeah.
And that means tackling these challenges of energy and chip production.
So we need to figure out how to power and build the infrastructure for this, like, AI-driven future.
Right.
Otherwise, it's just a pipe dream, right?
More than that, I think. Altman suggests that if we don't address these challenges, AI could become a tool only for the rich and powerful.
Right.
And potentially lead to conflict and inequality.
Oh, wow. That's a sobering thought. It sounds like the stakes are, like, incredibly high.
They are.
Yeah.
And this is where wise action and collaboration becomes so essential.
Mm-hmm.
We need to acknowledge the potential downsides of this technology while actively working to ensure its use for good.
It seems like we're talking about, like, a fundamental shift in how we think about technology and its role in society.
Yeah.
But let's be honest, like, aren't there going to be some bumps along the road?
Right.
I mean, what about jobs?
Yeah.
Automation anxiety is already, like, a real concern for a lot of people.
Yeah. Altman doesn't shy away from that. He acknowledges that there is a potential for job market disruptions.
Right.
He acknowledges that change is inevitable, but he also points out that change is often gradual.
Okay.
And that new opportunities will emerge.
So you're saying we shouldn't panic about, like, robots taking over all the jobs?
Well, not exactly. It's more about recognizing that we can't predict the future with certainty.
Right.
The jobs of tomorrow might be as unimaginable to us now as, the internet would have been to someone living 100 years ago.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe we need to shift our thinking from, like, fearing job displacement to preparing for a future where, like, the nature of work itself is fundamentally different.
Right, that's a good way to put it, yeah. And that brings us to, I think, a really crucial point that Altman emphasizes throughout his post. This isn't just about the technology. It's about our choices and actions.
Right, yeah. Okay, it's up to us to shape this thing.
As we stand at the cusp of this intelligence age, the question isn't just what will happen, but what role do we want to play in shaping this future?
So we're not just passengers along for the ride. We actually have some say in how this all plays out.
Absolutely. Altman argues that this isn't just about the technology itself. It's about our values, our choices, and the kind of world we want to create.
It's almost like a choose-your-own-adventure novel for humanity.
Right.
Except the stakes are incredibly high.
That's a great analogy. And just like in those stories, the choices we make today will determine the path we take and the ending we ultimately reach.
So where do we even begin? How do we ensure that AI is used for good, for progress, and not for something, well, less desirable?
It's a complex question. And Altman stresses the need for, open and honest discussions.
Okay.
We need to involve diverse voices, consider different perspectives, and establish ethical frameworks for developing and deploying AI systems.
So it's not just about the, tech geniuses coding away in their labs. It's about bringing everyone to the table. Yeah.
From ethicists to policymakers to everyday citizens.
Exactly. It's about recognizing that the impact of AI extends far beyond the realm of technology.
Right.
It touches every aspect of our lives.
It makes you wonder, how do we even prepare for a future that's so uncertain, so full of potential, and yet unknown risks?
Well, Altman highlights the importance of education.
Okay.
Not just in the traditional sense, but as a lifelong pursuit.
Okay.
We need to equip ourselves with the skills and knowledge to adapt to this rapidly changing world.
So what does that look like in practice? Are we all going to have to become like programmers and data scientists?
Not necessarily. While those technical skills are undoubtedly important, there's also a growing need for what we might call human skills. Critical thinking, creativity, problem solving, the ability to communicate and collaborate effectively.
So those uniquely human qualities will become even more valuable in a world where machines are increasingly capable of handling those more routine tasks. That's right. And this is where I think the concept of personalized education that Altman talks about becomes so crucial.
Okay.
Imagine a world where every child has access to AI-powered tutors
Wow.
who can adapt to their individual learning styles and needs,
Yeah.
helping them reach their full potential.
It sounds like something out of a science fiction movie.
Right.
But if we can make it a reality, the implications are enormous.
Absolutely. It's about creating a future where education isn't just about memorizing facts,
Right.
but about cultivating curiosity, critical thinking, and a love of learning that lasts a lifetime.
Okay, this is all incredibly inspiring, but let's not forget that not everyone shares this optimistic view of the future.
Right.
Right. I mean, there are legitimate concerns about job displacement, algorithmic bias, and the potential for AI to be used for harmful purposes.
It's important to acknowledge those concerns and address them head on.
Okay.
We need to be realistic about the potential downsides of AI while actively working to mitigate those risks.
Right. So it's not about like blindly embracing technology.
Right.
It's about approaching it with a critical eye, asking tough questions, and demanding accountability from those who are developing and deploying these AI systems.
Exactly. And this is where informed citizens play a crucial role.
Okay.
The more we understand about AI, the better equipped we'll be to engage in these conversations and advocate for responsible development and use.
This all feels a bit overwhelming, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's like we're talking about the future of humanity itself.
In a way, we are.
Yeah.
The decisions we make today will have a ripple effect for generations to come.
Wow.
And that's why it's so vital to approach this new era with a sense of responsibility, recognizing both the immense potential and the very real risks involved.
So how do we balance this sense of optimism with the very real challenges we're facing?
Yeah.
How do we navigate this uncharted territory without getting lost in the hype or paralyzed by fear?
It's a delicate balance, and Altman offers some valuable insights here. He talks about the importance of acting wisely, but with conviction.
Okay.
Embracing the possibilities while acknowledging the risks.
So not charging ahead blindly, but also not letting fear hold us back.
Precisely. It's about finding that middle ground where we can leverage the power of AI for good while safeguarding against its potential downsides.
This deep dive has definitely been an eye-opener for me.
Yeah.
It's both exhilarating and a bit daunting to think about the scale of change we're facing.
It's an exciting time to be alive, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But it's also a time that demands careful consideration, thoughtful dialogue, and a willingness to embrace the unknown.
Okay, I'm starting to feel that sense of optimism again.
Good.
Not a naive optimism, but a grounded optimism based on the understanding that we have a role to play in shaping this future.
That's the spirit. And that brings us back to Altman's core message.
Yeah.
We're on the cusp of the intelligence age, and it's up to us to ensure that this new era benefits all of humanity.
So what does this all mean for our listeners?
Right.
What can they do to prepare for this future, to become active participants in shaping the intelligence age?
That's a great question, and it leads us perfectly to the final part of our deep dive, where we'll explore some practical steps you can take to thrive in this exciting and challenging new world.
Okay, so we've explored Sam Altman's vision of the intelligence age.
Right.
And it's clear that this isn't just like some far-off sci-fi fantasy. This is happening now.
Yeah, it is.
And it's going to impact all of us. But instead of feeling overwhelmed by all of it, let's focus on what we can do to thrive in this new era. Like, what are some practical steps, our listeners can take to not just survive, but actually flourish in this AI-powered world?
Well, I think it all starts with a shift in mindset. We need to kind of move away from this fear of being replaced by technology and embrace the idea of working alongside it.
So how do we do that?
Right.
I mean, it's one thing to say, like, embrace technology, but it's another to actually, like, figure out how to integrate it into our lives and careers and all of that.
One of the most important things I think you can do is to become a lifelong learner.
Okay.
The skills that are in high demand today might be obsolete tomorrow.
Right.
So cultivate a curiosity for new things, a willingness to adapt, and a commitment to constantly, expanding your knowledge and skill set.
That makes sense. But with like the sheer volume of information out there, it's hard to know where to even begin. It's almost like information overload is its own kind of obstacle these days.
And that's where AI can actually become a really valuable tool.
Okay.
Think of like AI-powered learning platforms as your personalized guides, in this vast sea of information. They can assess your current skills, identify areas where you need to upskill, and recommend tailored learning paths.
So it's like having a, custom designed curriculum curated just for you based on your individual strengths and weaknesses.
Exactly. It takes the guesswork out of figuring out what to learn next and provides a structured approach to acquiring new skills and knowledge.
That's a game changer, especially for people who are like juggling work, family, and other commitments.
Yeah.
But what about, those who don't have access to these advanced learning platforms?
Right.
How do we ensure that everyone has the opportunity to thrive in this new era, regardless of, their background or resources?
That's a crucial point, and I think it highlights the need for equitable access to education and technology. Governments, educational institutions, and tech companies, I think, all have a role to play in ensuring that everyone has the opportunity to develop the skills they need to succeed in this intelligence age.
So it's a collective effort.
Right.
Not just something individuals have to figure out on their own.
Right.
It's about creating a system where everyone has a chance to participate and benefit from these advancements.
Absolutely. And speaking of collective effort,
let's
not underestimate the power of community.
Yeah.
Connect with others who are interested in AI. Join online forums, attend workshops, and share, knowledge and resources.
Yeah.
The more we learn from each other,
Right.
the better prepared we'll be to navigate the complexities of this new era.
It's like that old saying, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together.
Yeah.
It sounds like collaboration is key.
Yeah.
Both on a societal level and on a personal level.
Collaboration is essential.
Yeah.
But let's get down to, brass tacks here.
Okay, yeah.
If our listeners are thinking about their careers and the future of work,
Right.
what are some specific skills that will be in high demand in this intelligence age? Like, what should they be focusing on?
Yeah, give us the inside scoop. What are the hot skills of the future?
Well, anything related to, data analysis, machine learning, and AI development will obviously be valuable.
Yeah.
But beyond those, technical skills,
Right.
we're also going to see a growing demand for what we might call human skills.
Human skills. You mean like communication, empathy, creativity, those sorts of things.
Exactly.
Okay.
While AI is incredibly powerful when it comes to, processing data and performing tasks,
Right.
it still lacks the human touch when it comes to things like emotional intelligence,
Right.
critical thinking, complex problem solving, and building relationships.
Okay.
These, uniquely human skills will become even more valuable as we work alongside AI systems.
So it's not about humans versus machines.
Right.
Yeah.
It's about humans and machines working together.
Exactly.
Each like leveraging their unique strengths.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And the better we understand each other's strengths and limitations, the more effective this collaboration will be.
This has been an incredibly insightful conversation.
Yeah, it has.
But before we wrap up, I have to ask,
Sure.
if there's one piece of advice you could give to our listeners about thriving in this intelligence age, what would it be?
Embrace change, be curious, and never stop learning.
Okay.
The intelligence age isn't something to be feared.
Right.
It's an opportunity to create a better future for ourselves and generations to come.
Well said. It's about approaching this new era with a sense of possibility and a willingness to adapt and evolve.
Absolutely.
On that note of optimism, it's time to wrap up our deep dive into the intelligence age.
Right.
We've explored the transformative power of AI, the importance of ethical considerations, and the need for lifelong learning and collaboration.
Remember, the future's not predetermined.
Yeah.
It's something we create together.
Right.
So go out there, embrace the possibilities, and help shape the intelligence age into the bright future we all hope for.
Okay. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time. Keep exploring, keep learning, and keep asking questions.